All right, everybody. Good morning. Welcome in. I hope you're doing well on this Wednesday. Hope everything's going well with you. We are experiencing in 2022 the Saturn square Uranus transit, and it is sort of fluctuating back and forth because of retrogrades and things like that. But just know that this fall is going to tear down the walls of things that are holding us in a place that makes us too small for where we're going. Okay. So just so you know, that is what's going to be happening. I was just looking at the Saturn square Uranus, and the final actual square, like really tight in orb, is Christmas Eve. So this fall is going to be a time when there might be a lot of stuff that is going on in your life that you've created a structure around that's trying to change. It's trying to change. You have the structure, and then, Saturn, and then the Uranus is like trying to throw lightning bolts at it. So just know, if that's what's going on, it's going on for all of us. It's going on in terms of the collective about what we want to create as a structure. And it's also going on in the individual. So like, what are the things that you've created that need some updating or innovating? Okay. You are perfectly imperfect. Cut away what is no longer needed for you. That's absolutely Saturn square Uranus, no question about it. You are at the divine Y point. Wow. So check it out. We are in the fall, or no, we're not. We're still in summer, but we're getting to the fall where this is what happens. We cut away dead branches. We trim up trees. We do things like that. And it might seem a little weird that, oh, I don't want to cut this tree. But the fact is, there's some pruning that's necessary so the growth can continue. It's not necessarily about destroying something wholesale. It is more about seeing the parts of it that aren't working and then making tweaks. Okay? Especially if you have stepped into your power, stepped into your spiritual gifts, you are shining your light. I've been beating this drum for a couple of years, and I feel like right now what's happening is some of the folks who are the strongest are the ones who are being most impacted, because this is the final hurrah of Saturn square Uranus, where Uranus finally is like, ba-boom, take that. And you're like, okay, I'm building a structure for myself that is more capable of innovation. And that is a beautiful merging of Saturn and Uranus. The thing that I'm creating has the capability for change and going with the flow and moving into the new earth and all of that. If you've created a structure that's too rigid, you're going to feel, it's going to feel like, any kind of change is going to break off a huge bit of it. It's like literally feeling that way to me, that there could be like a huge ba-boom, when a big branch falls from a tree, when it could have just been trimmed up and things would have been okay with the tree, and the tree could have grown and gone on. If nothing gets examined, if nothing gets like, okay, this is something that needs to be cut away, or this part of my work or this part of the relationship isn't working, so we need to work on that. If those things aren't really top of mind for you, like, for example, if you or anybody in your life, if you're feeling like people are just coasting along, if you're feeling like people aren't really doing this kind of assessment, like they'd rather, kind of hide their eyes from it, or they want to pretend as if the earth is going along the way it always has been. And so if you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always got. And the thing is that with Saturn square Uranus, the rules are being updated. We are being given an updated rule book, okay? And we are all playing in that same arena. And those of us who are on the spiritual path in a conscious kind of way, I mean, we're all on a spiritual path in our own ways, but as a collective, and those of us who are on the spiritual path in a very conscious way, we are seeing that, like, okay, Uranian energy isn't emotional. It's Aquarius. It's not emotional. Saturn isn't really emotional either, except for the fact of this is the way we've always done it. And so this is the way it always must be done. I think when we have those, so what are the belief systems you have about yourself that are non-negotiable? This is what you've always believed about yourself to be true or wanted to be true. No, it's much more about like, it's much more rigid than that. It's much more like, this is the image of myself. And it's turning out that you might be somebody different than what you have been put forward. And in a way that needs to be rebirthed again, needs to be brought forth. And anything that is kind of covering you up needs to be cut away. All right. Yep. Hierophant underneath. And then I just see the Justice card here. King of Pentacles, 5 of Swords, King of Cups, 8 of Pentacles, 9 of Cups, 4 of Pentacles, 10 of Wands, Knight of Cups, and the Ace of Wands. So the Ace of Wands has been showing up lately really in an important way of lighting our innovation, lighting our interest, lighting our spark. Okay, so that is Uranian energy. And when the spark shows up, like these things that we kind of trudge along through, these things that have worked in the past, are now turning out to be our enemy. So something that did bring you financial stability or bring you some kind of grounding is being looked at through this Saturn square Uranus as maybe it's not what's in my heart anymore. Okay, so some of you might be choosing between, you know, I've put, 80, 100 hours a week into a certain business, and it's really cutting into now my expansion as a person. It's really not what's helping me grow to the next level. And I feel like there's quite a bit. I definitely, in this morning's my own reading, I got some High Priestess energy, which is things are not what they appear. But it's almost like don't react based on what you think is happening, because I think there's a lot of deception going on. Okay, especially around financial. I know that there's a lot of discussion about what's really happening in the financial markets, what's really happening in the financial world, and I think there's a lot of people who are like, "Oh, this is what's happening." And then there's an equal amount of people going, "Oh no, that's not happening at all. This is happening." And so it has this binding up Saturnian feeling about it, because I think a lot of people aren't really sure, because there's so many other people who pretend to be sure, who are sure, who act sure, that I think there's a sense of like, all right, you know what? I'm going to go inside. I'm going to focus on my own connection to spirit. I can't control anything else anyway, so I'm just going to work on what's going on inside. I'm going to balance. I'm going to do that kind of work. And I feel like that's something that is super helpful, because if there was any kind of burden that needed to be put down, it will show up. All right. We are having, so Saturn square Uranus in August, kind of got strong again. It's not going to be exact until December 24th. But this fall, I think a lot of things will be shown to us that we thought were true are not true. And so there's this collective sense of sureness. This is what I believe to be the case. This is my rigid belief about who I am in that space. And I feel like that's all coming undone. So what happens then? Do you crawl into a hole? Do you double down? Do you expand into the energy of the unknown? Is that something that is part of you? Or do you want things to be sure? And so whenever that happens, it gets kind of woogity and you're not really sure what to do. But I do feel like, let's get some clarity around that right now. So the sense of sureness, I feel like with the Kings, becomes less sure here And I think that it's because there's an illusion going on that is being perpetrated by a collective that isn't sure, because things are changing so much that there's like, all right, well, I need to be sure about something. So I'm just going to say that this is what it is. And then a whole bunch of people jump on my bandwagon and da 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 da. But internally, is that really true for you? Are you really feeling that? Or is it because other people are feeling it and that you're just kind of bouncing off them because you're like, I don't know where the path is, because we have to make the path. I've been pounding on this for a couple years now. We are the way showers. And so it is a bit incumbent upon us to get ourselves grounded, to focus on our connection to spirit, to shut out the noise, and to be able to get a clear sense of what it is for us. Okay. 5 of Swords, the World, Queen of Wands, 8 of Swords, and the 2 of Pentacles. There it is again. So here we are going, okay, we're walking through this new portal. We've been talking about a new portal to a new earth for quite some time. Now, what happens if it's because it's a new earth, it's a new experience. And like, we're all excited about the new earth, but now I don't have a rule book. Now I don't have a structure. Now I don't know what's supposed to happen. Now I don't know where I'm supposed to go or what I'm supposed to do. So let me clarify the 4 of Pentacles here. 3 of Wands, 9 of Pentacles, Lovers, and this Page of Pentacles. So there is this beautiful sense of choosing to be strong in your own. I mean, that's the only thing you can deal with right now, or you can control. I'm going to use that word control, is your own experience. And so if there's a lot of energy around you, I definitely have been having dreams for a long time about my arms outstretched and people standing on my arms. I've definitely been feeling that. And there's a sense of clearing recently of that, and a sense of recognizing that the path has changed. The path has changed. And over the course of this fall, I feel like we're really going to be seeing that. There's a sense of wanting to I feel like there's a lot of people who are going to want to hang on to something, especially if things that are being cleared away, it's like, oh, I want this cleared away, but not that. Leave that. Don't let that go, right? Like, this all needs to go, but that needs to stay. And so that's a situation where we get clammed up. We clam up a little bit because we're like, yes, we want the new earth. Yes, we want the new projection. No, not projection. The new energetic experience. And finally, to put down this 10 of Wands that we've been hauling around because that's what we think things are supposed to be like. But that's going away. There's a sense of a brand new path here. And I'm going to read you this. You are at the divine Y point. And it's a 33 card, which is a master teacher card. Okay. So I'm going to read that to you right now, because that does feel like the most relevant piece of this reading. At each moment in time and space, there is a choice point. It has been called the divine Y by some of the sages. You are now at such a point. Where will you go? Left or right? Each branch leads to new possibilities, and in turn, even more new possibilities. Sometimes it can feel overwhelming until you realize how to navigate with your heart. There it is. It is not just Y, the letter Y, but a Y, W-H-Y. What is your greatest why for where you are headed? Why do you truly want to go there? Evolve, explore your greatest impact and contribution. Your heart is your GPS here, navigating the journey. And the good news is there is no wrong choice. You just keep getting rerouted back again by your galactic guides, arriving at the same perfect destination in the stars. So I want to put your mind at ease and your heart at ease a little bit here, because I think when we're living in this world of linear time, or this perception of linear time, we also think that choices we make remove the law of unintended consequences, remove things that we don't want to go. And I feel like what's being shown here now is all that's being removed is the illusion that we're stuck, or the illusion that we don't know what's next. And so we fiddle and be unsure, and we have issues with our nervous system, and we have issues about holding on to the past and things like that. But I feel like what's being shown here is that that's really an illusion itself. We're always being rerouted, in the sense that we're always being routed to our highest and best good. Always. Always. And even if things do fall away, if people fall away, or relationships or work, business or something like that falls away, it's only in terms of what's being made way for the next level. So I do see some inspiration coming in. I think what's happening here is you're getting a clear sense of, wow, I've made a structure, Saturn, I've made a structure that isn't happy anymore for me, or isn't pleasing anymore, isn't joyful anymore. And this is giving me a reason to dump it. This is giving me a reason to be like, yeah, I know I thought that was important, but it's not. And so you're getting a chance here to shed things that have kept you in a Saturnian rigid structure. And in turn, what happens then is you get into this mind structure that I can't change it. What are the beliefs you have about yourself that are rigid? I'm generally a happy person. I like to think things, I like to see myself as this type of person, or this is how people experience me. This is a big one, was a big one for my mother, that she always wanted to be perceived as nice. And then later on in her life, she said to me, people are nice until they're not. I was like, yep, that's right. And so her evolution in her life was the awareness that nice was becoming a mask. It masked a lot of frustration by her, and a lot of disappointments, and a lot of hurt, and a lot of feelings that things were unfair and stuff like that. But she kept, that was her generation. She kept that mask on. And she did say to me later in her life that she felt that if she had just been a little more real, maybe the migraines wouldn't have come. And I was like, yep, that's right. It felt so, when she said that, I was like, oh, wow, yeah, that's right. So that's what's going on here. It's sort of like, what structure are you holding up? And it's like, why am I holding this up? Why? Why do I need to hold on to this? That's a good question. So let's continue on. I love this Knight of Cups and Ace of Wands. I feel like there's a new beginning, a new inspiration, like the spark is trying to come through here. And the structure that needs to be put down is being put down. So Saturn square Uranus is really showing up in this reading. And this fall, I feel like this is going to be something that we all deal with as a collective and also as individuals. So I will keep going on with this. There might be some special, I'm going to look at Gemini. I see Gemini here. I see Libra. I mean, there's a few signs here, but I'll pull some cards just to understand what's going on with them. But let's continue as a collective and see what's going on with this Ace of Wands spark. All right. Link is below if you want to continue on with me. Pathfinders, let's just keep going. All right. I hope you enjoyed that video. If it was helpful to you, please consider liking this video and sharing it with anybody who might have a need for similar kind of information. And if you like this video, check out these videos.